15 games today in the NHL. We're going to break down 3 of those games, plus best bets, plus the ladder challenge, plus some props. So we got a lot of stuff for you here on Puck Time. Andrew, Carmine, and Buster with you here on a jam-packed slate here on a Wednesday. Guys, welcome in. Hope you guys all had a great and winning day yesterday, despite just the 2 games. We'll try and lead you guys in the right direction for today. Carm, good morning to you, sir. You have a big night ahead of you, I believe, with a 5% play locked and loaded. How are you, my friend? And what are the games you chose for us today?
Yeah, we got a pretty good card today. Rangers, Canes, Leafs, and Panthers. Your prop segment, Vegas, Golden Knights, and Colorado. Then we'll do a ladder challenge play, get some show best bets out to you guys. Hopefully we can go 3-0 with those ones and not 0-3. And we close it off, and we'll be back on Friday because it is American Thanksgiving. South of the border for us, Andrew. We get to celebrate it again. It's great. 2 Thanksgivings in 1 year. God bless America. We love you guys. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Big slate of action tonight. I was just releasing some client plays as well too. So the 1 day all access, if you didn't pick up yesterday's $5 special on tonight's play, you can still get the 1 day all access and get a bunch of plays going today. But let's kick it off, guys. Canes and Rangers. It's looking right now, the projected goalies are Shesterkin for the Rangers, Spencer Martin for the Canes. The totals here at 6.5. This opened last night at about 140, 145. This morning it was 150, about a half hour before going to air. And then I saw some big numbers popping up on the Canes. So they are getting some action right now. I'm not sure if we're going to get any Rangers buyback, but I'm seeing some 170s, some 175s on the Canes. So I'm not particularly sure if there's some news coming out on this game. I will say one thing before I go to Buster on this one. Chris Drury has thrown out some names. Things are bad in New York right now, not only with the Islanders, but also the New York Rangers, this New York Rangers team. And he has said to other GMs that Chris Kreider and Trumba are available. They're on the trading block if you want them. The one thing is that both guys have no 15-team no trade clauses or whatever, where they can't get traded to certain teams. So they would have to change that in order for those guys to get moved. But I'm going to go. Listen, I like the Canes at minus 150. I'm kind of leery at 170. I want to see what the news is coming out. I'm hoping there's some Rangers buyback on this, Buster. But I always say things need to get worse before they get better. And I don't think they've gotten worse yet for the New York Rangers. This is a very good team that just is not playing well. Doesn't matter who they put in net. Doesn't matter who they are playing. They are just not playing well at the moment. And it's a scary thing. Turn it around and have one of those top 2 or top 3 spots in the Metro and not be a wild card team, which is hard to even comprehend how they could be a wild card. From Carmine Bianco on the screen there to Chalky Bianco, because I like a lot of chalk tonight. Buster, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Carmine, this is super tough handicap, obviously. And with those guys talking like that, I think it's just, these guys are frustrated, right? They've lost 3 in a row. But at 170, like you say, we were talking about that before the show. I mean, the Rangers you'll never get them at this kind of price again. That's for sure. You can count on that. They're huge. That's a big dog for a Rangers team that, yeah, they've lost 3 in a row. But again, geez, do you really want to lay that 170, Carm? I know. Yeah, no thanks. If you ask me, Rangers could be a live dog here, and for many reasons. As I said, to me, I believe, and I've said it on here many times, that Carolina, they're the best team in the NHL. There's no doubt about that. But this league, as we all know, is a huge grind. And Carolina, although they've been playing very well, they are only 4-3 in their last 7. So if they're going to be had, maybe the day before they're at home, before Thanksgiving, getting everything all ready in that, maybe that's a day that they can be had. But But the number, to me, you can't bet the Carolina at this number. Now, what we do know is Carolina does have some huge some revenge from last year's playoffs. But here's the thing. The Rangers have kind of owned this Carolina club. No matter how good they are, the Rangers beat them last year in the playoffs. They're 7-3 the last 10. So, again, with the Rangers losing 3 straight games, this could be a very good bounce back spot for them. And now what you say with all these guys playing, maybe everybody's just trying to light some fire under each other because they are playing so bad. So I would lean to New York only because of the price. I mean, there's no doubt about that. As for that total at 6.5, I find that probably just a real total pass. And because the last 10 games between these guys, 5 overs, 5 unders. Carolina last 10 are 6-4 to the under. The Rangers last 10 are 6-4 to the over. And yeah, one more reason why I might lean a bit more to the Rangers besides the price is that Spencer Martin will probably play his 4th game tonight. And guy's been playing good, there's no doubt. But again, he's not used to playing all this action. Again, day before Thanksgiving. If the Carolina Hurricanes are going to be had at home, I like my chances with the Rangers as a big dog. So, again, it's a lean on the Rangers. I don't want nothing to do with this total.
Looks like it's my turn.
Andrew, what are your thoughts on this?
It's my turn to go. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Finally.
Look, the thing.
Do your thing.
No. I was just going to say the thing is for me is, guys, as like Buster said, is that all the numbers kind of point towards taking Carolina as far as kind of recent trends. But with the price being what it is, and kind of, I like what Buster said about Spencer Martin and kind of the amount of starts he's had. The website that I look at has him listed as likely. I haven't seen any confirmed messages pop up on any sites yet, but likely is the word that I'm seeing for him starting tonight. But guys, just real quick on a hockey note, Elliot Friedman on the 32 Thoughts podcast, he doesn't usually say this stuff about management and things like that. And some of these guys on different podcasts, the exact same thing. What kind of message is that sending to your team if you're making your captain available for trade? What kind of message are you sending to your team that, hey, anytime we might just trade your guys' captain, the guy with the C, the guy that's supposed to be your leader, he might not be your captain anymore. I mean, people thought that would spark this team in certain scenarios, in certain situations. But if you look at it, it really has not been beneficial for this team. Obviously, guys, based on some of the games that they've played recently, and the St. Louis Blues coming off their game where they fired their head coach, the game was 2-2. And then just like that, the St. Louis Blues run the score up, and they finish that one 5-2 over the Rangers. When it comes down to it in this game in particular, I'm going to look at the team total under for the Carolina Hurricanes. This team has been a high-scoring team. I get it. They've been fast. I get it. But when a team is struggling, like the New York Rangers, they have to go back to the old New York Rangers. They have to go back to the Rangers team that was able to win games in low-scoring fashion. And when I look at this team, I still trust Igor Shesterkin. We know the great numbers that Jonathan Quick has had. And if you are a team that has depth, if you're a team that's going to tell me that you have depth down the middle, you should be able to shut down teams. So I'm going to sprinkle money line on the New York Rangers. But, guys, here's the price you can get on the team total under 2.5 goals for Carolina, plus 200. And I think that they're going to do a good job of shutting them down. And this is a big game on the road for the New York Rangers. So hopefully they get it done. Usually you guys hear me betting on team total overs, but I think this is a really strong defensive performance tonight out of the Rangers. And with all these messages and things going on, sometimes you need to play an elite of the elite, a divisional rival, a divisional opponent. Before I throw it back to Carmine, I'll just say one more thing. Do you guys remember when this division was supposed to be easy, when this division was supposed to be the Devils and then nobody else's? I mean, at this point, I think it's honestly fair to say that the Metropolitan Division might be more competitive than the Atlantic Division. This division actually could be a better division entertainment-wise than the Atlantic at this point, and we all thought that this division wouldn't be very good. But look at Washington. Look at New Jersey. Look at these two teams. They've got some teams that are actually making some noise. Columbus as well. Carm, you've given them some credit. So this division's actually been pretty good.
It really has, Andrew. Just a quick message for you guys watching. The desktop version was down. The YouTube Shorts version was up. I have posted a link in there. The desktop version is now up and working. My apologies. I think it's Andrew spilt his chai latte, half goat milk, half oat, half whatever, all over the production board. So that's what screwed things up. But we're up and working now, so it did, Andrew. But to the point of, in case some people missed it, I did mention, that Canes line had jumped. I'll be looking for some news throughout the show, and you guys are talking just to see if I hear of any players that are omitted or goalie changes or anything that can explain the move. Because with these two teams, a 25-cent bump early in the morning usually signifies something from the morning skate, it being 11:10 East Coast time. So we'll see what's going on and see if I can get you guys any news, if there is any. But until then, Andrew, I'm going to go to you first. Leafs and Panthers. Bobrovsky, Stolarz, -140 on the Panthers, who seem a little desperate right now. A Stanley Cup team seeming desperate. It doesn't sound right, but they need to win. The Leafs start the Florida double. They'll play Tampa on Saturday. Austin Matthews did practice with the team on Tuesday, a full practice, but still quite a few other Leafs are out of the lineup. Domi did not fly down. Matthew Nyes was in a non-contact jersey. He won't be playing, of course, either. And they're saying that Matthews traveled with the team, but likely he's going to play on Saturday. We'll see if he makes the lineup tonight. Where are you leaning on this one?
Carm, I'm going to put a disclaimer out before I say this. I have not had a lot of success this season going against the Maple Leafs. And I don't think a lot of people have had success going against the Maple Leafs this year. How could you with how they're playing? This is actually kind of cool how this game's set up, because recently, very recently, the Maple Leafs have taken over the #1 spot in the Atlantic Division over the Florida Panthers. And the schedule has been very weird for them. At one point, the schedule makers gave the Leafs a bunch of back-to-backs in a row, and then they gave them close to a week off. It's been very weird. But, guys, a lot of times I talk about, in some sports, recency bias isn't a good thing to go off of. But sometimes there's certain situations that you can look at, and it can kind of make sense for you. Number one, I like the fact that the Panthers are at home here. I like the fact that they're the healthier team. I like the fact they get the last change. I like that Barkov and Reinhart and all those guys will get to match up against whomever they decide to match up against, and their coach tells them to go against, because they're at home. Number two, I like the fact that we're getting the more gritty team, and I still will call Florida that team, the defending Stanley Cup champions, the more motivated team at this point. When we talk about defending Stanley Cup champions, we talk about the Florida Panthers and this Maple Leafs team that continues to have struggles against Florida on a large scale, it seems, especially in big games. This is kind of a spot you'd think the Leafs would be motivated for. But losing 4-1 to the Capitals, 7-4 against the Avalanche, 3-1 against the Blackhawks, and then they lost against the Winnipeg Jets, of course, a 4-game losing streak for the Florida Panthers. I'm buying the dip. I'm jumping in here. When you take a look at this Florida Panthers team, they are creating chances. They have had high shot counts. They have had high danger opportunities. And when I look at this Maple Leafs team, they've been kind of thrown in some pretty good opportunities. Getting Utah on the road, getting the Golden Knights a little fatigued there. The Golden Knights were on one of the longest road trips. And they have had some good games as well, though. I'm not going to lie. They've beat the Capitals. They took down the Oilers. But I think this is a spot where we're getting the hungrier team. And this is what you want in the regular season. You want the hungrier team. I know some people will ride streaks. Some people will want to go with the hot hand. And I completely understand that. Can't blame anybody. But the only thing that bothers me is that Anthony Stolarz is making his return to Florida. And he's going to want to play very well. But when it comes down to it, Buster, it seems to me like every single season, there's a new goaltender in Toronto that just starts playing well, and then we see the regression. Regression comes. And right now, the Leafs have one of the best goalie tandems in the league, no denying it. But they're going to know Stolar's over there in Florida, and I think this is a more motivated team. Give me Florida minus 135. What are your thoughts, Buster?
Well, Andrew, I really can't blame you for taking Florida, but again, these clubs are going in the opposite direction, right? Toronto has won 7 of their last 8, and as you mentioned, how bad Florida has been, they've only won 1 game in their last 7. And truthfully, how you were saying how you have trouble with the Leafs, betting the Leafs, both of these clubs are very much trouble for me. Actually, the Leafs have been actually pretty good to me this year. Florida, I've had them a couple times on this 7-game funk, as we would like to say. And I tell you, there's just something wrong. They just don't look well. They're not playing well. They got totally just outplayed that whole game against Washington on Monday night. And now they got to face a red-hot Toronto club. So, yeah, as far as taking a side here, here's the problem with even trying to back the Leafs, though. The Leafs are a great home club, 10-3 at home. Now you get them on the road. They're 3-5 on the road. And I don't trust the Leafs on the road. Can't really trust Florida the way they've been playing. So for me, it's like a coin flip. So I'm going to have to pass aside here because, just cannot trust the Leafs on the road. And I've watched most of these Florida games, and I'm telling you, there's just something up. Don't know what it is. Maybe Stanley Cup funk, I'm not sure, but they're just playing some really crappy hockey. We will lean to the over here, over 6. The line was 6.5 to open up, and it went right to 6. So we kind of like that with being a little bit of the contrarian here. Now, of the last 10 games, 8 of the last 10 games between these clubs were lined at 6.5 and some at 7. So there is some line value here at 6 if you like the over. Problem is, these teams have played the last 10 games, 8 unders and 2 overs. But the 2 overs have been recently. And you can go back 2 years where you see mostly all those unders when they played in the playoffs. So you got to take that with a grain of salt, if you ask me. And for me, the only way Florida gets out of this 7-game funk, I say 7-game, I know they won 1 of those 7, but to get out of this funk, they got to start playing more offense. That's their club. They've got a lot of guys that can put the puck in the net. They've averaged 2 goals, just a little over 2 goals a game these last 7. That can't happen. That's why they're losing. They need to open things up. And Toronto's the kind of team that they'll play any type of hockey. They can play a little bit more offense. They have been playing very well on defense. That's what's probably got them to this streak. But with these 2 teams together tonight, Florida needing to win. And I'll always say there's no such thing as due. Is Florida due? Yeah, I guess they are due. I don't believe in that. I don't care if they're due or not. They're not playing well. To me, I think there's going to be a little bit more open ice. Not much defense today because it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. So, they want to get going to get to that turkey and having a few drinks. Give me the over 6 in this one, guys.
Over 6.
All right,
returning to town.
I guess I'm the tiebreaker in this one, and the tiebreaker in the sense of going against both of you guys, I think, because I think Andrew's on. Andrew, did you say you're on the Leafs here? You like the Leafs in this
I'm
one?
on Florida.
Because I'm going to tell you something is I've said on this show over and over again that you have to sometimes look at, you can find teams at respectable prices, kind of like last night with Vancouver, where the home and away splits are completely different. Some teams play extremely well on the road. Some teams don't play well. Vancouver had won 7 straight going into Boston last night. They were plus 102 or whatever they were. They get the win in Boston, 8 straight wins on the road. There's another team that I'm going to mention a little later on that has a very good road record as well, too. The Leafs are doing what they're supposed to do when they play at home. They are 10-3 at home. On the road, they are a 500 team, 3-3-2. Those are 2 completely different records. They are protecting home ice the way you're supposed to, and they're just getting by on the road. Sure, some teams will be happy with a 500 record, but now they're going to Florida, And we know what Florida's done to the Leafs in the past. Maybe they are the medicine that remedies what's going on in Florida. Do I want to take the Leafs at plus 120 in Florida? No, I don't. I don't mind laying the buck 40 here with Bobrovsky, the Panthers, tonight in this one. As far as the over/under goes, I think in order for the Leafs to win, the Leafs have to play a low-scoring game, much like they have in. If you look at the Leafs with Austin Matthews out of the lineup, there, especially at home, there's a lot of low-scoring games on their card. They're starting to play better defensively. That's what Craig Berube wants them to do. That doesn't always work against a Florida team. Teams that have gone in there and pushed the pace have, like Colorado did, like Washington has done. Those are teams that have come away with victories. Are the Leafs going to do tonight? I don't think so. I'm going to lay the buck 40 and stick to my name as Chalky Bianco on today's show. Give me the Panthers minus 140 in a low-scoring affair. 3-2 final. That blows up Buster's over. These guys aren't thinking about Turkey just yet, Buster. These guys are thinking about 2 points on the ice tonight. And with that said,
and for the record, we
Andrew,
are on
I'm
the
gonna
same
throw it
page.
to you
Carm.
for your prop segment.
We're on the same
Oh,
page.
damn
Just
it.
wanted to put that.
Okay,
We're
and
on
with
the
that,
same page.
with that said, let's get some prop bets out there. Give us some prop bet winners.
I was hoping you weren't going to say, oh, if you're on the same page, I guess I'll take the other side. But yeah, we're on the same page. Florida Panthers tonight and Buster's on the over. All right, let's get to some props, guys. Before we jump into the prop segment, of course, the same special we run every single year around this time, around Thanksgiving. 1 week of all sports, all plays, $69. This time, no promo code needed. NFL plays, NHL plays, whatever it might be, you're going to get from me. You guys can use that great special we have, $69. We hope you all join us on that. It's going to be an action-filled week at WagerTalk.com and a ton of games today. I'm only going to have one pick up for sale, but if you want all my picks, use that special and get all of my plays for $69 for the entire week. All right, let's jump into the plays here. Jake Neighbors from the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis puts up 5 goals, guys, in their first game after firing their coach. It's unbelievable in the NHL how automatic these teams are, how much better they play after they fire their coach. We're going to go over 1.5 shots on goal. I tell you guys, I love these 1.5 numbers. And we're talking today on PuckTime about the road and home splits. Jake Neighbors seems to always play better on the road. I can't explain it. It just is what it is for him. 6 straight road games, he's gone over 1.5 shots on goal. Coach Jim Montgomery is saying he wants this team playing with more speed. He wants them forechecking harder. He wants the shot counts higher. Over 1.5 shots on goal, we're going to go with Jake Neighbors. All right, the next one, we're going to go with Kirill Kaprizov, who is in the Hart Trophy conversation here in November. And I get it. It's only November, but in 4 straight meetings against the Buffalo Sabres, he's gone over this number. And as I always say to you guys, sometimes there are certain players that just have the number of certain teams in the matchup that they play. And when I look at some of these numbers for Kaprizov, it's not just the shots on goal, it's the shot attempt numbers. 5, 6, sometimes even 9 shot attempts against this Buffalo Sabres team. I can't explain it to you guys, but certain times, certain players play well against these opponents. All right, last one, Mackenzie Weegar from the Calgary Flames, over 2.5 shots on goal over the Detroit Red Wings. This one's kind of interesting, guys. So the Detroit Red Wings are a bottom 3 team in the league in shots on goal allowed against defensemen. So this is one of those things where I'm more so just targeting a position that they're weak against, targeting something that they give up quite a bit, whether it's off the rush, whether it's point chances, whether it's on the power play, whatever it may be. This is a Detroit team that gives up chances, goals, shots, points to other teams' defensemen. And when I found that little tidbit, I had to lock in over 2.5 shots on goal. Mackenzie Weegar, who's a big part of this Flames team. And as of right now, he's actually in the conversation for a player to make the Team Canada 4 Nations team. I'm not sure he will, but it goes to show the kind of hockey he's been playing as of late for the Calgary Flames. So 3 props, 3 different kind of scenarios, 3 different handicaps, and hopefully on this busy slate, we can go 3-0 with our player props here on a Wednesday night. Back to you, Carm.
All right, I am back. I just wanted to address someone because someone's like, you don't give up, you're taking favorites. You're not giving out dogs. I gave out plenty of dogs the last week and a half on the show. A majority of them, if not all of them, hit. If you're not betting them, you shouldn't be giving them out. This is the point. I'm not going to give you guys a dog in a game that I'm not going to bet myself and then tell you to put your money on it. That is the most idiotic thing you could possibly do as a person co-hosting a show, is to tell people who to bet on and then not bet on them yourself. So with that said, let's go to the next game, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche. Buster, looks like it's Georgiev and Hill in this one, minus 160 on Colorado, plus 1.5 on Vegas. Now, normally I would say you got Colorado returning home from an East Coast trip, but both teams are returning home from East Coast trips. Arguably, the Colorado 3 or 4 the 4 games that they played were tougher than the ones I think that Vegas played on the East Coast. And fresh in their minds, well, maybe not fresh in their minds, but you have to think that Colorado still remembers that 8-4 drubbing at the beginning of the season in Vegas, where Vegas just handed it a beating on them in that one. This is like minus 160. It's almost pushed me off of wanting to take this game. I don't think these are two teams that would go to overtime. I think if you like Colorado, I think you would probably look at taking them maybe even in regulation, where you can get plus 105, plus 110 on them. This is a series, Buster, and I'm looking at the Avs, and I'll take the Avs in regulation time. But this is a series where I think you can make a point that doesn't matter where the venue is with these two teams. They're just going to share victories, beating each other up. And you have to decide whether you're on the right side of that beating or the wrong side of that beating. So hopefully I'm on the right side today. I'm taking the Avs in this one. What are your thoughts?
Well, Carmine, you very well might be on the right side of that. But again, 160. And they are 160 for a good reason, because the Golden Knights come in here looking like a MASH unit. Stone, Carlson, Whitecloud, Pietrangelo all look like they're going to be out tonight. And although the Golden Knights are a very deep club, they keep winning, and they do catch, as you had mentioned, Carmine, they catch Colorado off a 4-game East Coast trip, although, as you had mentioned, Vegas is on their way home as well. But I got to believe, never mind that 8-4 beatdown that Vegas gave Colorado at the beginning of the season. How about that 8-2 beatdown they just got from Tampa Bay? That's got to be really fresh in their mind. And now they come home to listen to it, Thanksgiving and all. So for me, again, here's what you want to look at. Do I want to lay 160 with a club who's in a really bad spot, just took a right-out beatdown from a team? The thing is, no thanks, I don't. But then again, I also don't want to take a team that's riddled with injuries, and they just basically probably want to get home for the holidays. They've been on a little bit of a long road trip themselves. So I'm going to pass aside here. What I do want, and what I've already put out for my clients, is we're going to take the over 6.5 here. I've said it all season long, probably say every week that you put a Vegas game on here, Carm. Vegas is just a dead over club. They've gone over in 12 of the last 18 games. And now let's look at this Colorado club at home. 10-2 on the season over the total at home. That shows something there. They're playing for their home fans. They're putting the puck in the net. So again, not sure, and it's kind of a thing that we talk about. I talk with my buddies a lot. How are teams going to, react being Thanksgiving, whether it's at home, whether you're on the road and you're going home for Thanksgiving? To me, I've always had the thought process that maybe that defense isn't going to be played all that much as they normally would, because, it's the holidays, I guess, right? That's just my own little opinion. Whatever you think, you think. But another thing why I like the over here, Both teams have great power plays. Vegas is number 3 in the NHL. Colorado is number 4 in the NHL. Carmine, you mentioned the only time they played this year, 8-4. I'm going to pass aside here, but give us the over.
Listen, Buster, I completely get it on passing on a side here. I get it. I'm taking a lean on Colorado on this one. In Colorado on this one. I'm hoping Georgiev continues to get better in goal. We'll see. That price is very high. So at 160, 170, you sort of get priced out of it because Vegas, you start to think Vegas at plus 140, plus 145 is a live dog. Your thoughts should be, I always say your thoughts should be predicated on what you think the teams are going to do and not what the price is at. The price can be the final decider on whether you want to take the game or not. But if you like Colorado and then you don't like the price, you don't just flip flop over to Vegas because they're a better price. So that's the point I'm trying to make on that one. But Andrew, you look at this one, and I mentioned these two teams could pretty much go into each other's buildings. It didn't happen at the beginning of the season, but go into the other team's building and win a game. They are skilled teams that can win on the road. And they're starting to build a nice little hate towards each other. It's becoming a rivalry for these two teams in the West. It's two of the better or best teams in the West. What are your thoughts on this one?
You know where I'm going with this one, Carm. You know where I'm going. I'm staying away from the goaltending of the Avalanche. I'm avoiding what they're going to do defensively, and I'm just betting on them to get 4 goals. That's what I'm doing in their last 5 wins. They got 4 goals at least in 3 of them. In their last 10 wins, they got at least 4 goals in 6 of those. So it's a winning proposition. It hasn't been dominant as of late. But when it comes down to it, I ultimately do not want to trust the goaltending for Colorado right now. I don't want to trust their defense right now. And one thing about this Vegas team, guys, they're only on like a 5-game road trip, I believe. But this is the longest, geographical road trip for them this season. They've still been doing a lot of traveling around. So whether they've been kicking everybody's butt or not, the only one they struggled against was the Maple Leafs, where they were shut out, and they followed it up with a good effort. And winning in Ottawa. This team is very well traveled right now. So although, hey, you could play 5 or 6 games in your own division and in your own kind of area in the West Coast, but to play 5 or 6 games traveling around, Canada and America is a little bit different. So of course, there's a little bit of travel situations for both teams, as mentioned by you guys. And of course, that revenge factor from the previous meeting between these teams. And I think that, like Buster said, I love when I get a healthy Avalanche team at home. Just with the way that they're set up, the depth that they have, getting the last change, I think is so crucial for a team like this, taking advantage of some of the injuries that the Vegas Golden Knights have. And when it ultimately comes down to it, guys, the Colorado Avalanche, albeit, like I said, they have had, 3-1 victory over the Blues, 2-1 over the Seattle Kraken. I get it. But when it comes down to it, right now, I don't want to be on this Avalanche team unless I'm on the team total. And unfortunately, the price isn't even great on that one either. It's minus 120, 125, depending on where you're looking around to get the best price you can. But that's where I'm going to go. I think we see Vegas's worst defensive performance so far of their road trip. I think it happens tonight. And I believe Colorado will have success in this hockey game. I don't know if they have air mile Vegas, but they should. They've been traveling around quite a bit, Carm. That stuff all adds up, and they've definitely been traveling a lot as of late, and hopefully it impacts them tonight in their game. All right, let's keep the ladder challenge going as Carm is going to try and climb the ladder this week, get to that final goal, that final step, but one step at a time, Carm. We both cashed in with the Ottawa Senators 2 days ago. What do you have for us today?
Yeah, we passed yesterday on the ladder challenge after taking Ottawa in the first game in regulation. This one's a different game than what we've discussed. I'm going to look at the Dallas and Chicago game tonight. Dallas obviously coming off of that game in Carolina where the Canes came from from behind in that third period and won that game. I think it was 6-4 final. Dallas doesn't blow a lot of third period leads and hasn't lost many games this season, but their resiliency this season and bouncing back from games has been very good. They're fun off a loss this season, all 5 wins by 2+ goals. So you know where we're going here. I am going to take the Dallas Stars -1.5 plus 105, and that's 210 to win 220. So if the Stars win by 2+ tonight in Chicago, that puts us up to 430 and puts us a step or 2 away from completing the ladder challenge. So Dallas Stars -1.5 plus 105, 210 to win 220. I look pretty angry in that ladder challenge there. But 210 to win 220 tonight on the Dallas Stars on the puck line. Let's see if they can make it 6-1 off a loss and 6 wins by 2+ goals off a loss in Chicago. All right. Time for our best bets, our show free plays. Buster, we're going to go to you first. What do you have up at WagerTalk? And give us a play on the show.
Well, thank you, Carmine. As you guys have been mentioning, or Andrew mentioned, we do have that Thanksgiving Day special, $69 for a 7-day special. That's a great deal, guys. It only happens once a year, always at Thanksgiving. So, and of course, that includes all 5% releases. And in saying that, we actually have one up in the NFL for tomorrow for Thanksgiving. And we're 4-1 our last 5%'s in the NFL. And our last one was a nice rocking chair winner with Denver over Atlanta. So head on over to WagerTalk.com, go to Don Buster, grab that great deal, and grab our plays that we have going, the packages that we'll have all week. Our show free play will be on Ottawa San Jose over 6. Now, both these clubs are starting to trend to the over. San Jose 4-1-1 to the over their last 6. Ottawa have now gone over the total in 3 of their last 4 games. Ottawa also has one of the better power plays in the NHL, so I think that helps here. Now, I know San Jose is known for not being able to score goals, but at home they tend to score some goals. And actually, in 2 of their last 3 games, they put up a 7 spot against LA their last game. A couple games back at home, they put up 5 against Detroit. And those are 2 which we could all agree are pretty decent defensive clubs. So we'd like San Jose to get their fair share tonight. Ottawa, I believe you'll see them start playing more and more overs. This team has a lot of offense. They just really get a lot of, as you guys might say every once in a while, bad puck luck. So anyways, our play is going to be Ottawa, San Jose over 6 for your show play. Of course, with Thanksgiving coming up, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, all the best with all your plays, and most important, have your safe travels out there. Be safe, guys, out there, and enjoy Thanksgiving. And as always, have a great day.
It must always be a great day when you look outside and you see the sun, isn't it, Buster? Because I'm looking out at gray skies right now.
It sure is, Andrew. It sure is. It sure is. Just looking right now, I'm looking at the Gulf of Mexico right now. It's pretty blessed, I'd have to say.
Gotta love it. You gotta love it. You talk about happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hopefully, guys, if your bets aren't going well, you can keep your family members happy and not let them know about it at least, and keep it a happy Thanksgiving for your family, and not not blame everybody else and take out your anger on those people. I know everybody associates Thanksgiving with football, but hey, what about family? What about family time? That's what you guys got to think about. But hey, nobody on this show is probably thinking about family. They want to make money betting the NHL and betting the NFL. So who am I to tell you to spend time with your family? My best bet is going to be the Florida Panthers today. And I think it's going to be a really motivated spot for them. When you get the Leafs and you have the Panthers going head-to-head right now with no Domi, with no Matthew Nyes for the Maple Leafs, who have been a great team this year. There's absolutely no denying it. But I think I look at this spot, losing 4 straight games for the Panthers, playing at home. they're playing a goalie that they've known for quite a few years with Anthony Stolarz, which should help them. Very similar to a baseball team playing a pitcher that used to pitch for them. They should know some tendencies. Give me the Panthers on the money line as my show best bet, and you can get another favorite play of the day for me over at WagerTalk.com. That is a 4% play. It's a situational play that I really, really do like. And there's a ton of games today on tap in the NHL, so looking forward to hopefully making some money and enjoying some really, really good hockey. But as Buster said, hope you guys all have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all the games. Enjoy all the time with friends and family. And hopefully you make some money tonight in the NHL. Carm, over to you to close the show out with your show best bet.
I'll quickly mention, that I have a lot of you took advantage of it yesterday, but if you didn't, 5% play up in the NHL. Tonight, a couple client plays have been loaded as well, too, and then a couple Champions League plays for this afternoon. The Prez has a 5% play up as well, too. You'll hear from him shortly on Wager Talk today. That follows our show. So give him some love as well, too. Head over to Wager Talk and you can pick up that play. Or, as mentioned, a ton of plays from a lot of the cappers. That $69 Thanksgiving Day deal is a great package, under $10 a day for 7 days. Again, every single play released. It's action-packed 7 days ahead, guys. So that's a great deal to take advantage of. As my best bet, I'm going to take Minnesota tonight. The Sabres return off a 3-game West Coast trip, a 4-game trip overall. They started in Philadelphia. They lost. They went to the West Coast, beat the LA Kings, and then a couple easy ones against Anaheim and San Jose. A couple easier teams, but not easy games. And now they return home off that trip and play Minnesota, who are a very good road team, the best record in the West at 9-3-1. And they're off of back-to-back losses, including one in Calgary in OT. I think Minnesota gets the better of them tonight in Buffalo in the first game back for the Sabres. I'm going to take Minnesota minus 135 as your show best bet. Guys, listen, enjoy football tomorrow. It's a great slate of action for all you guys. Hopefully you guys make a ton of money tonight and carry it over to tomorrow. Be safe and have a fantastic Thanksgiving south of the border. North of the border, we're going to enjoy it as well, too. So for myself, Don Buster, Andrew McInnes, and Dan Alexander, this is Puck Time. We'll see you again on Friday.